When we think of massive, highly engineered city grids, we picture modern urban centers with sophisticated zoning and infrastructure. But 5,000 years ago, an ancient civilization engineered an urban marvel on a similar scale before the ocean swallowed it completely. According to ancient Indian scriptures, this was Dwarka, a sprawling coastal kingdom containing over 900 palaces adorned with silver, gold, and precious stones. For generations, academics dismissed these detailed descriptions as elaborate religious poetry. The texts tell a precise story of its fall. Following a period of intense civil strife and the departure of the city's founder, Lord Krishna, the Arabian Sea surged forward and reclaimed the land, pulling the entire metropolis underwater. Modern historians looked at these accounts and saw only mythology. The idea that a city of such structural complexity existed thousands of years ago defied the accepted timeline of human development. That rigid consensus cracked in 1983. Off the coast of Gujarat, near the modern town of Oka, divers hit the seafloor and found something natural geology couldn't explain. Massive, carefully carved stone blocks were resting quietly in the sand. The sheer scale of the underwater architecture forced historians to confront a very uncomfortable question. They had to consider that the ancient epics might be literal, physical records of a forgotten human civilization. The man who decided to find out was Dr. S.R. Rao. Operating with minimal funding and early sonar technology, he launched India's first major marine archaeological expedition, relying heavily on local fishermen and basic diving gear. 30 meters down, they found massive stone walls stretching 560 meters along the seabed, explicitly man-made fortifications. Nearby, they uncovered heavy stone anchors with 3 precise holes. This design indicates heavy maritime traffic, proving this was a highly organized port. The lab results shows these underwater structures with the ancient Harivamsa Purana yields a perfect match. The text explicitly details a heavily fortified trading hub built directly on land reclaimed from the ocean. Decades later, between 2001 and 2007, marine scientists returned with advanced sub-bottom profilers. They scanned the Gulf of Combat and mapped out a sprawling geometric grid buried beneath the mud, proving a deeply organized urban layout. The team brought physical artifacts to the surface. Pieces of ancient pottery and earthenware were recovered from the site and sent to international labs for carbon and thermal luminescence dating to determine their exact age. The lab results showed some of these items were between 5,000 to 9,000 years old. Combined with the strict geometry of the ruins, the evidence confirms the scriptures documented a physical reality, not just a spiritual allegory. Acknowledging the city existed brings up an entirely different problem. What specific natural mechanism is capable of swallowing a metropolis the size of Dwarka so completely? Geologists look to the sea level rise theory. By tracking millennia of ocean data, they found that between 9 and 5,000 years ago, the water levels in the Arabian Sea spiked violently by roughly 25 meters. This chart illustrates how a major seismic event displaces massive amounts of water, creating towering waves that strike land with devastating force. Around that same time, similar data from Indonesia and the Americas shows evidence of intense global seismic shifts. This specific window of extreme geological instability lines up exactly with the traditional timeline of the Mahabharata War and the subsequent flooding of the city. The ancient epics attribute the city's destruction to a divine curse. Read through the lens of modern geology, that curse is a localized, first-hand account of a devastating climate event that violently redrew the Indian coastline. In early 2024, the decades-long search for this sunken capital reached a new level of public awareness when India's Prime Minister descended into the Arabian Sea to visit the submerged ruins firsthand. We are looking at an archaeological site that carries a historical weight equal to Pompeii or Troy. It is a physical monument to a civilization that refused to be erased by the ocean. The engineering required to build and maintain Dwarka demonstrates that ancient populations possessed maritime technology and urban planning capabilities far beyond what standard textbooks usually suggest. For decades, people assumed you had to choose between religious texts and the scientific method. This site proves they are often 2 different languages describing the exact same objective history. Dwarka may still lie at the bottom of the Arabian Sea, but its physical discovery bridges thousands of years of spiritual tradition with the precision of modern science. Jai Dwarkadish.